We have a anniversary to celebrate. So apparently, and this is something that was brought to my attention by Tiffany, we've been doing these New Answers podcast with a bend toward spirituality, nurturing our spirituality for maybe a little more than a year. I wasn't keeping track of it. I have a strange relationship with time anyway, unless it's something really um, something that really marks it for me. They kind of time blurs together for me. But anyway, with this recognition of our 1 year plus anniversary, we thought we would share how we feel we've grown, kind of do a reflection on our spiritual growth in this time. So, hi and welcome to New Answers Podcast, where we as a community discuss solutions to life's challenges based on our own personal experience. I'm Gwendolyn Flynn. I guess you can see that. And I'm always joined by my colleague, Tiffany Lee. Hi, Tiffany.
Yeah.
If if you hadn't mentioned it, I would not have obviously been aware of the fact that we've been doing this a year. It doesn't seem like that long, but
I know last year, as long as it was, also feels like it went by fast.
yes. Isn't it funny how that can happen at the same time? It
Right.
goes by fast, but it feels like it was like a lot was happening in that year.
So much,
So
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 much.
much has happened. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, and even in 2026, it's only we're into February, but it feels like, we should be in June by now because of stuff just keeps coming at us, right?
yeah.
So, how do you feel you've grown in that time period? And then I'll share how I feel I've grown.
Well, I know I've grown spiritually with this practice um, of doing our video cast, but also because I have been in practitioner classes.
Yeah.
So overall, that's helped me connect even more. Like I was just mentioning in our meeting this morning at the church that I'm getting more visions along with my downloads, So,
Oh.
and I also noticed that I get my downloads right before I am learning something new in class. So someone said, "Oh, so the teacher's teaching you and then backing it up with your studies." And I was like, "Oh,
Mm.
that's an interesting way of seeing that." Yeah.
Yeah, it is
But
interesting.
definitely I've gone a long way, being from something where I kind of dabbled in
Yeah.
and spoke a little bit about it was, to it being my full embodied life as a spiritual practitioner. And that happened in a year. That's crazy.
That's quite a change in a year, you know, um, given you've had a lifetime of other kinds of experiences, and then in this single year, it sounds like things have shifted for you. I feel like things have shifted for me too. I have been working on, I think even before we started this, on patience and being patient. And I think I'm getting better at it. But what has helped for me, help make that happen for me is the conversations that we've had and especially those conversations that talk about surrender and surrendering and I guess this other phrase that comes to me, and I think it's part of some of my daily affirmations, is to allow myself to align with the divine rhythm of the universe. And I guess and taking that in, it has helped me with my patience. Like I'm not as I don't know why I feel like things have to get done now. It's got to be now or never. It's like,
Yeah.
um, but I'm now more relaxed and I feel less stress. because I am surrendering more and I'm flowing with, I'm picking up the divine rhythm of the universe, flowing with the divine rhythm. So I don't get as stressed as I was, and I'm much more patient than I used to be. So that's some growth. But some other concrete things that I have picked up on in the time that we've been talking is the um, the recognition of the feminine energy and how, in the past it has been maligned. We have been those of us, I guess the feminine energy is an indication of how closely connected we are to the omnipresent, to the God, consciousness. And in the past, people have been fearful of that because they would call women who had that close connection witches and, give them all kinds of sort of negative connotations. And I have, become more aware of that divine energy and how positive it is and not to suppress it, certainly, but to express it. And the more we express it, I think it really contributes towards the greater good in the world. So those are some concrete things. But the other thing is, um, even the little notion of ego. It's not even a little. Ego is a big note,
Yeah.
but helping you to break it down so that you understand that ego means edging out God, and your ego is, that's we humans. That's what we present with first, right? I think maybe sometimes the ego comes up, and the ego can be really challenging to our life. If we are operating from a place of ego, edging out God, um, we sometimes get into trouble. We sometimes, or and
It's
can't
when
get
we
out,
let, yeah, when we let the ego run us as opposed
run
to
us.
being there to assist us, then it can cause trouble.
Yep, exactly. So that was a big, big lesson, and being able to center yourself and be quiet and still and allow yourself to be reflective before you make a decision or before you take actions to determine, is this coming from ego or is this coming from God consciousness?
Right? Being mindful. Like I think that's what they mean by mindfulness. It's like
Being,
sit.
yes, being mindful. I mean, I think it makes a lot of difference. And then I'm also understanding how powerful your subconscious is
Mhm.
because to especially in our last conversation, to me that gets you to the heart of how you really are, who you really are, how you're really feeling. And it presents itself in the subconscious. And because for a while there, well, I think before we got into these conversations, I would call myself spiritual, and I am, but it would come from a place of me sort of um, not mimicking, but you know, a lot of repeating things so frequently so that it then does become part of me and part of the subconscious and become, and heartfelt and not just, like a rote repetition of things, because what is that expression when you um, fake it till you make it?
Mhm.
Fake it till you make it. So it felt like that to me before the conversation that we were having. So I was like, I was believing it, but I just kept repeating it over and over again until it really got down in
Embodied in
my
you. Yeah.
yes, 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 and part of my subconscious. And then that's when I learned, oh, when it becomes part of your subconscious, it's really a part of you. and you are embodying it, you are living it, you are breathing it, and it's not something you have to really think about anymore. It's like breathing. So so these are some powerful things that stand out for me within this last year, and a lot of it's been the last 6 months even. I mean,
Yeah.
the notion of there's levels of spiritual consciousness, that was something that was not part of my thinking um, a year ago. The to you, for you, is it through you and as you, or as you? Always get those last two confused. Which level
Through
comes
you,
first?
as you.
Through you, as you. That's okay. I was right. To you, for you, through you, as you. Through you. Yeah, that makes sense. Then as you is like you are it. You're
Christ.
the
Yeah.
embodiment.
Christ
Yeah.
embodied. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So those are the things that stand out for me in terms of my growth over over this past year, which is a lot, I think.
It is a lot. And all that for me as well. Plus, you know, so yeah, it's embodying all the things that we learn. And I think I was explaining it to someone earlier. It's kind of like when you're awakening in the spiritual path of remembering, really when we call it, it's a remembering who we
Yeah,
are. It comes in pieces, like pieces
right.
of a puzzle. And then it eventually starts like making sense and coming together, becoming coherent. And you don't even realize that you just have pieces until you get to agree, like, oh, I have so many pieces. It's got to come up with a full picture. And then it does. The more you dive into it, the more educated in it, you become, or the more you tap into the infinite wisdom and become a receiver, the puzzle comes together as
Hmm.
one,
Hmm.
so I feel that it's less in my mind as it's more embodied in me. I've always been
Hmm.
had a lot of grace for people and empathy, but
Uh-huh.
I can do it from a whole different realm at this point now.
Mm.
And all the evil going on, I can still separate myself in a sense of seeing how it's consciousness levels, and not take it personally, you know,
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
make it good,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
it's not personal. Like I literally see people as just different levels of consciousness. And
Mm.
some levels are not good.
Yeah.
Some
Yes.
levels produce bad fruit. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a dimension. I don't know that I have gotten to that point yet. I'm gonna turn my back for a minute because as you were talking, something occurred to me that I thought I want to share a little bit later, related to what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, so not taking it personally, because that's an area I'm still struggling with. I really am. And so when I get to the point where I am not taking it personally, then I feel I will have achieved another level of growth, and maybe moving myself certainly out of the to you and for you to the through you. Because then it's about how I will react to that, whatever is coming at me that I would take personally.
Right.
Yeah.
And I
So
don't
that,
think Jesus did it, but we probably are always going to be fluctuating in it, right? Like,
yeah,
don't feel bad when you're at the to me. This happened to
yeah,
me. We're going to think like that until we really break down to like it doesn't happen to me, it happens for me, um,
yeah.
through me. For me and through me are a good place to live. As me, God,
Hmm.
as God walking
Hmm.
around, that's an amazing place to be if we could get there. But we
Oh my
can
gosh,
be
yes.
there, but probably just like not 24/7, you know?
Yeah, yeah. and you're right, and because I think that that is about us being human beings, and I know I'm, still with my sort of self-reflection and trying to be more self-aware that I tend to think a little linearly, like everything happens in phases or stages, and it's like one, two, three, four, and that's not real life. Like, we flow
Yeah,
in and out of these what these dimensions, I guess, and these levels. We're not always going step by step, one step at a time. It's like we're in and out as we are developing and as we are growing. So I shouldn't beat myself up. I'm going to try not to beat myself up about if I have to flow back and to get to, the third level or whatever it is. Yeah, but it's been really interesting. And I do feel, like I say, I feel, some level of weight lifted off me because I'm not so stressed about time and about just allowing things, just allowing the universe to do what it does and just
does. And
be okay with it. You know?
people be where they are. And I wrote a poem about that, actually.
Oh,
So I'll
did
read
you?
it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'd like to hear that. We can talk about that. You can share that with us. Um, but yeah, a little more accepting and not so controlling, I guess is there's Errol. I was gonna ask, where
There's
is
Errol.
Errol? Because
You
Errol
know,
always shows up.
had a bag of food here right before we came on. So he's been staring at me in different directions. If you see me, and he was just like, he was doing that to me from here. And then he went in front of me because he wants the food. So he just gave up.
Errol makes his presence known. And if he wants something, especially. That's funny. But
Yeah.
um, but yeah, maybe you can share your poem now.
Okay. So this came from a download when I realized that it speaks on our levels of consciousness and the way we see the world.
Mm, hmm
I see what I see and it's different from thee. We each create the world we see, a private, pulsing mystery. No two minds shape the sky the same. Each breath writes out its hidden frame. What looks like chaos here to me might be another's harmony. What feels like darkness in my view may shine like dawn for someone new. We walk inside a mirrored dream where nothing's ever what it seems. The world's not fixed nor carved in stone, it shifts according to our tone. Our thoughts paint storms, our hearts paint light. We make the day, we make the night. A universe that bends and sways to match the might that lights its way. Perhaps I feel the world's deep ache because I came to heal the break, to see the cracks others dismiss and fill them with a higher bliss. And if this life is all made up, a sacred, cosmic, dream filled cup, then let me choose the love I weave, the truth I hold, the world I breathe. Let borders fade, let walls release, let fear dissolve to quiet peace. For when the light begins to rise, it rewrites worlds behind our eyes.
Mm.
And that's on my Facebook page.
Oh, you've put it up on your Facebook page.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Writing poetry seems to come so easy to you. You just you feel it and then you
That's a
share it.
Pisces. That's a Pisces in me. We're so emotional. It's been my way of getting out my emotions in like the
Mm,
healthiest way possible.
hmm
Otherwise, who knows what I'd be doing? I might be on this, might be destructive. I don't know.
No, I don't know. I don't know. But dude, that certainly is I mean, it's just a great expression of so obviously how you're feeling, but I'm sure other people can relate to it too because we're going through the same, chaos.
Right.
But that's really inspirational. And it, like I say, it seems to come to you as breathing. And I guess we talked earlier on about our superpowers and how, we are gifted with certain things. That's why we're put on this earth, to share those gifts. And you certainly have the gift of literature and poetry and prose that helps to uplift, uh, you know, the psyche and be be inspirational to the world.
Or hopefully, yeah. I have another one that says we're not mad enough. So it kind of goes on a little bit different.
It's not a different thing, but it's just another,
Yeah.
expression of emotions. I tried writing. I may have said this before. Um, After a bad breakup, you know, I guess other people experience these kinds of things too, but not certainly the bad breakup, but after the bad breakup, I tried writing a poem, which I thought could become a song, and it killed me. I could not get the right words to express how I was really feeling. And because I thought what I'm experiencing can't be, it can't be me in isolation. And if I were to get this out, it will help me, but it may help other people. Like other people can relate to this kind of circumstance too.
Right.
I just could not get those words together. It was
You
just,
probably were thinking too much about it. You just
I
let it
probably
flow.
was.
If you have feelings in you, you let it flow in your language. Like my original poems compared
Mm,
to now, and that's the other change in me in the year. My original ones were more raw and very simple. I've become more poetic the more I've done it, the more I'm reading.
really?
Yeah, and
Okay.
I don't know which ones I like more actually.
Hmm.
So, but you just let it flow through you. Don't think
Hmm.
about it because at every level, there's someone that needs to hear it at every level. I
That's true.
love Shakespeare. I'm a Shakespeare person. I read everything Shakespeare's done multiple times, but I
Hmm.
don't write except when I was in college. I don't write like Shakespeare. If I did, no one would, very few people right now would read Shakespeare if I wrote it in a public way. Like there's a poem for everyone in every language. So if you
Mm,
feel it, let it out. That's all I do. Like it
hmm.
comes to me sometimes early in the morning. Or what I've done is I've made poems. That's what I've been doing recently out of
Hmm.
my notes.
Out of your
I
download, you
do the
say?
download and then I make a
Okay.
and for me,
Oh,
that's
okay.
just the easier way
Mm-hmm.
of digesting it and sharing it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm. And you're right, because I think I do overthink things. I think too much, if I put too much thought in it.
right.
I think that's one of the barriers. The other barrier we talked about for me is I'm not as in touch with my feelings as some people are. And so how can I write about something when I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm
Just
not,
start, open it up, let it open up because if you don't get it out, let it be if you don't get it out, it internalizes and that's where illness comes from.
that's where you get sick. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So don't think about it, just write it. It
Just
doesn't
do
have
it.
to rhyme either. Remember a lot of my first ones didn't rhyme.
Oh, I didn't notice that. They seem
I
to,
made a conscious effort to rhyme more because
yeah,
when I'm being really raw, it doesn't rhyme. It's just raw and emotional.
yeah.
Um, so I have
And
multiple.
that's how mine was. That started out to be raw and emotional, and it was not rhyming at all. And then I started thinking, okay, so what word goes with, or sounds like, or whatever, rhymes with, and that's the wrong approach to it. I think you're right.
My first book it didn't rhyme that much, but
Mm-hmm.
you feel everyone's comment was it was raw. And that one was all about heartbreak and self-love and stuff like this. This
Mm-hmm.
one is more my downloads and I'm putting more effort into to make it rhyme because it's just coming from a different place, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. I will do that. And that makes sense to me because I know when I wrote my culinary memoir, and I somehow feel compelled to do that because I thought what I learned from changing my diet in terms of improving my health, I thought other people could benefit from. And so I was really intent on and determined to get it out there. But instead of allowing myself to block myself because I'm overthinking it, I just decided I'm going to write. I'm just going to do a brain, what they call the brain dump, and just write it out
Yeah,
and worry about structure and the all the grammatical things that you worry about later, but just do a brain dump. And that's what I should do with this song and this poem. Um,
exactly. Brain dump it. When
mhm.
I brain dump, I might write five poems at one time. I'll just be like, have all this emotion. I do say I'm a Pisces, full of emotion, and I just start writing and writing. Maybe only
Mhm.
one of them turns into a real poem, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
But
But at
at the
least
moment, sometimes I go back and be like, oh, I feel that right now. I'm going to work on that, you know. But I have
oh,
multiple versions of every poem.
oh my
I have my
goodness.
brain dump and I let it out, or I have my download and I let it out.
Uh-huh.
It just depends if if I'm going to continue to work on it in the same day or another day. And
Yeah.
sometimes when I look at both versions and like them both. It like has sometimes two
Oh.
different feelings, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's all it is
Interesting.
paper.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And you're just sharing it on paper. Yeah.
Uh,
So I want to go back. I know we are talking about our spiritual growth as we have been recording these video casts, I guess, instead of podcasts, on focused on nurturing our spirituality. But you said something about, and I thought this may be another way to reflect your growth and your change over the years, over the year that we've been doing this, that you were getting what did you call it?
downloads.
Downloads. And now though they're coming with visions. So they weren't before, and now they are. What is that? What do you attribute that to? Is that part of your spiritual growth or just,
I think it's just being more open. I did get visions before. I always got visions.
oh, did you?
Yeah, even as a child. But
Mm-hmm.
the um, downloads are what became really strong in the last 2 years. And now my visions, I can like think of a subject and close my eyes and get a vision for it right away. The visions are like coming in really strong now. That's what I've
Yeah.
noticed for the last week. I was like, oh,
Okay.
I did tell Spirit I wanted to learn to remote view, so that might be happening. So I'll let you know more on that as I grow. Yeah,
Okay.
it's kind of each gift is kind of weird though because you're like, ooh, I want to do that, and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
you're doing it. You're like, I'm not sure if I like this or not. That's how I am with the visions right now, or
Oh,
the remote.
really?
I'm like, do I really like this?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because you
Wow.
don't always want to see things, and
Yeah.
I feel like when you first get a gift, it comes in strong, it comes in without a lot of control. So then now I have to like um focus on what I'm thinking about. Because like for instance, I don't want to think about the Epstein files and
Mm-hmm.
something and then get a vision or do a remote view and like see something I don't want to see. In particular, I really don't want that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can imagine. I know why. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. But still, that sounds like a area of because I guess you can control it, but an area of growth for you, um, that you're able to, decide whether or not you want to see the vision or not. Interesting. So I really had to contemplate the conversation that we were having last time about um, the God presence and how you must embody it. It can't just be because we're talking about God conscious, I guess, leadership.
Hmm.
Um, and started out talking about people looking for leadership outside of themselves, and you really need to look internally. And then you had said something about it being even going deeper than maybe deeper than looking internally, but it's like you have to recognize the God presence in you. And for some reason, that I really had to think about that. And then this moments of inspiration that comes out of the spiritual center that I go to,
Hmm.
Agape, and the founding leader of it is Michael Beckwith. He wrote this, and it was like, oh my, he was here listening in on our conversation. So let me read this to you, and see what you think about this. So this is an excerpt from his service on February 1st, and it reads, people have become so focused on learning how to manifest and so obsessed with outcomes that they forget this. You never get what you want. You get who you are. You never get what you want. You get who you are. Your inner work is about your relationship with the presence so that you experience a complete identity shift. I mean, that was like, we were just talking about this. If
Right,
you have a relationship that lets you say, my life is the life of God, no matter what, and you hold fast to that vibration of that identity, the outcome takes care of itself. You don't attract it. And that's what I was believing, that you attract, what you are conscious of and what you think about a lot.
right,
So it reads, you don't attract it, you reveal it as the living revelation of who and what you are as a spiritual being. Ultimately, it's about the relationship you have with the divine within yourself. Isn't that what we were talking about last week? I mean, it was just, it's like he was listening in on our conversation. Although this was written February 1st, and what was last week? I don't know what, it was in February, but it wasn't,
right.
yeah. Oh my gosh. Don't you think? I mean, that was exactly what you were conveying, that I was trying to understand, trying to wrap my mind around. And I'm
Oh,
still,
that's why it came to you again, because
yes,
when I get a new download or something, it's like I can't always understand it. So it
yeah.
comes, like I'll
But
get
it
a download
comes,
before I study something in the book, and I thought that that was really interesting. I've noticed that with my classes. I get a download and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have this new understanding of something. And I'd be
mhm,
like, it's kind of out there, it's kind of mind blowing. And then I'll read about it. So one of my
mhm,
study friends in my class, I would tell her, I'd be like, Bonnie, da 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 da, and she was always ahead of me in the reading. She'd be like, just keep reading. And then I would get to it. I was like, oh, now it's explained. Emma Curtis is explaining it, or Emerson,
yeah,
or Ernest Holmes.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
one of my girlfriends said, she's like, yes, you're receiving from the teacher and then you're
Mm,
studying afterwards. I was like, oh, that was a mic drop.
that
I
is,
said I do like to have confirmation before I really
yeah,
embody something. It needs it to come to me 3 times. So this is how the universe is doing it right now.
yeah, yeah. This was
And that was it. Yeah.
confirmation. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was one of the things we talked about in one of the shows too. When I said I like confirmation for 3,
Yes, we did
and
talk about that.
then you started looking for confirmations, and so
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this has been an exciting, it has been enlightening, obviously. And I don't know what other words to use to describe the growth. And I feel so grateful that I have been able to take in, the conversations that we've been having and other things and other ways that this teaching has come to me to help me blossom in my spiritual growth. I'm really grateful for that. And I'm obviously open to continuing to grow. Uh, and and I know you are too, because you're continuing in your classes. So for those of you who have been tuning in to us, we would love to hear about your spiritual growth in this time that we have been together. I guess a little bit more than a year. Um, Share what's changed for you and how your um not only your behavior but your beliefs and the actions that you've taken, how they've changed over the course of the year as a result of your tuning into um this video cast. I guess I'm gonna migrate away from calling it a podcast. It's a video cast, but place those experiences that you have had and how you have seen your growth over this time in the comments section below this video. And we would love to hear from you, and we'll share with the rest of the community what you've placed there. And remember to click on the button to subscribe so that you will be able to get any of the new postings that we upload to this channel. So, on behalf of Tiffany Lee, I'm Gwendolyn Flynn. I want to thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.